because sometimes it ain't. As usual. Simple as that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglosh for the Wisconsin DMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. I ran across something. You think of Coca-Cola as the bastion of branding. Here's their very first TV ad, and it's from Thanksgiving Day 1950. And what they did.
For your Thanksgiving pleasure, the Coca-Cola Company and the bottlers of Coca-Cola bring you the television premiere of Edgar Bergen with Charlie McCarthy.
They showed their logo, and then they showed 3 bottles or 6 bottles of Coca-Cola on a tray, and that's what it was like in the 50s. Nice, soft music, nothing jumping out at you, and there it goes. And then they run the credits over top of it, and it goes on for a long time. And all she does is stand there with the tray. So anyway, I thought you'd enjoy that. I certainly enjoyed it. That's all there is. It doesn't get any more interesting than that. That was before the days when they tried to make commercials riveting. So let's go over to the rest of the news, right? Let's see where we go. Okay, yesterday I talked about an article from a Barracuda report, and this is from Net Security, helpnetsecurity.com. I don't know anything about that site. It's probably a blog post, but the reason that I mentioned it was because it was from Barracuda, who is one of the number one server security or protection companies in the world. And my headline said 39% bots or something. Well, I think I got it right when I explained it, but Dr. Augustine Fu, who's been on my show and I highly respect because he points out the $100 billion a year fraud in the digital ad business. So this is the reason I spend time on internet fraud, is that 39% of all internet traffic is from bad bots. It's really important to understand that. And so if you look at, but 64%, so 2/3 of the internet traffic that you might see on your site is automated, not people, right? 2/3 of that. And so about 1/3 is human, 1/3 is bad, more than 1/3, 40% is bad bots, and 25% is good bots, scarfing your site so that you appear in search engines and stuff. Okay? At least that's what they say. It's good. Good in what sense? That it gives Google all the ad power. But anyway, and so what this article doesn't talk about is the ad bots, though I'm sure they're put in there a bit. So I'll tag Dr. Augustine, and I will see if he has any thoughts on why they didn't mention ad bots in the article, and I'm sure he will, and we'll share those with you. Or you can watch for his comments on the post. Yesterday he commented on LinkedIn. He probably will do that again. One of the other things I thought was interesting that I didn't cover yesterday was that you think of the bad bots as coming from Russia or China or some nefarious, some nefarious black hat country. But no, 2/3 of them come from North America. 22% come from Europe. Not clear if Russia is a part of that. It doesn't break the countries out. It just breaks out the continents. But basically 2/3 of them are from, probably most of that's from the USA. So I thought that was kind of fun. And most of them come from AWS, which I think is Amazon Web Services, or Microsoft Azure, which is the Microsoft Cloud, because you can set up a free account with either provider and use the account to set up the bad bots. You'd think they could do something about that. Of course, then they wouldn't sell all the advertising and security and all the rest of the stuff. So I would never impugn their motives, but let's go on. This was an interesting article by Stephen Van Bellingham, and he said there's 3 simple questions. You can look at customer satisfaction scores, net promoter scores, but you can also you can just ask yourself 3 little questions to find out if your company is customer centric. How do you know if you're really customer centric? And the first one is, how do you react when your own interests and that of your customers oppose each other, right? Now, as a customer, I try to always align myself with the interests of the company. So when we had a brand new stove used for the first time, all of a sudden the coating, the ceramic coating started exploding off into the room. And there were little kids and stuff, and it was razor sharp little shards of glass, kind of. And when I wrote to the VP of marketing at the company that produced it and shared the pictures I had of these shards of glass laying all over the place on Mother's Day with 30 people at the house, I said, this could probably cost you millions of dollars in public relations. Millions. Or a new stove. And, gee whiz, I got a new stove. Not only did I get a replacement stove, I got the replacement stove and credit for the old stove. Anyway, so this, and Stephen here says, well, an example would be an account that's dormant at a bank and that they charge a fee for every month or every year or something, and it's been sitting idle for 5 years. I think I have a few of those accounts. Well, so one is just ignore it and keep collecting the fees. That sounds like most banks. The other is tell somebody that you got this dopey account and you should really do something about it. Or the third one that he says is the most customer centric is to refund the money and tell them that, you're sorry you collected it when there was no activity. Now, that sounds a little like some kind of socialism or crazy stuff to me. But, if that's what you and here's the problem with this. The problem is you don't know why I have that dormant account. I really actually have, I have a PayPal account that has almost no activity. But I purposely use that for certain transactions, like once in a blue moon, because it's harder to suck all the funds out of an account that doesn't have any funds, right? I have a debit card that just sits off to the side, and it's called my Happy Card, and it's not connected to any of my other accounts, so it's hard to be malicious with it. The best you get is a couple $100. Okay, so anyway, he thinks that you should pay them back for that. Do you choose the customer's own side or your own? But as a CEO or a CFO, you have other constituents to think about. You have your employees. If there was this famous company in Seattle that said we're going to pay everybody the same salary, and because we're all valuable, and everybody left. All the good people left. And rightly so, or you could have your investors, and you could say, well, we're going to just have the investors' interest, or we're not going to care at all about the investors, and we're just going to care about the customers, and that'll take care of the investors. And then they vote you out. So you have to balance all of these things. And here's an interesting article called "The Customer Isn't Always Right." And in here, it's basically an article on pricing theory and how some people can charge $10,000 or $20,000 for a report, and other people give it away for free. I give a lot away for free. Thank you very much. I probably should reread this, but the customer isn't always right. We had an imprinted merchandise company, where you'd sell a pen and what is the deal here? Why is this stuck to the bottom of the thing? Anyway, we had a pen company, and you'd put your company name on it. And we'd get people. We had an unconditional money-back guarantee, and sometimes people would spell their own company name wrong or get the logo wrong, and then they would want their money back. And the customer service people came to me and they said, we shouldn't have this. We shouldn't have this money-back guarantee unconditional. We should at least say that the imprint is your own responsibility if you sign off on it. And so the customer is the customer. Yeah, and I had a friend who used to take advantage of Land's End's unconditional guarantee. He'd buy a shirt, wear it for a couple of years, wear it out, gets frayed, send it back, say he needs another one. And they would do it. But if you allow customers to take advantage of your company at that level, then you're actually hurting the good customers. You're charging them a little extra to cover those costs of the evil customers, and that's not in the customer's interest. My point today, it's complicated, right? It's complicated. The customer is right, but who's the customer? Is it the shareholders? They're buying into your company. Is it the employees? They're committed to your company. The customers might be the third in that tier, right? And in the customer file, there's 1% that does about 20% of your sales. There's 20% that does 80% of your sales. And then there's 80% that does 100% of your customer service headaches, almost. I've always been an advocate for putting a little flag or a customer score, a red star, next to the best customers so that customer service knows this is a customer that actually pays money to work with us and is loyal over the years. Give that customer score to customer service so that we'll do extra special nice to that customer. And a customer that's only ordered once and returned it, or worse yet, we used to not mail these. We found that there were customers that would repeatedly order and return and order and return and were continually bad. And our system actually not only subtracts order processing cost, but charges an additional order processing cost for returns. So in an apparel company, that was a very handy way to calculate the customer long-term profit, because so if you bought 5 items and sent them all back, you had a negative margin life to date because you had a negative cost of goods. I mean, you had a net nothing in sales, and you had a double customer service charge. Something to keep in mind: customer-centric is tricky. Have a great day. Like and share. Your friends will